Woo! Okay, here we are. Another night of paint streaming fun from New Zealand. I'm painting this Ettin. Let me get the piece over here. Ugh. From Dungeons and Lasers, I think, is the maker of this mini. It's not a mini, it's a friggin' magazine. Hey, Diadems! Well, yeah, so check this guy out. This is a guy I bought off of a local Facebook, New Zealand-based kind of D&D selling, buying, selling website. I put it together, and it was all on sprues. I put it together. It's just super cool. I mean, it's well beyond my ability to do this nicely. Dungeons and Lasers, that's the thing. So I thought tonight I'm just gonna, usually what I call blocking out, I'm just gonna paint big chunks of it in a way to kind of dry paint and dry brush. So I'm not gonna get, this is gonna take me many sessions, right? So yeah, how are you? And I need to ask, Diadems, do you want to? I I messaged you on Discord. Maybe I didn't look at a response, but I asked if you want. Do you? I mean, do you want to play in my GaryCon game? I'm happy to. I'm just absolutely instantly send you a ticket. I mean, you can the virtual. Sorry, not GaryCon. Virtual Greyhawk Con. I can instantly send you a ticket to like play in that game. I want to say it's kind of like, I mean, the timing for me is kind of irrelevant, but I want to say North American time, it's like East Coast US, 10 p.m. start. So maybe it's like 7 p.m. start for where you are, I'm guessing. Anyway, if you want to play in that game, love to have you. Maybe just tell me, and I'll send a whatever. I can send you a ticket kind of thing. It's not that. Yeah, for what it's worth. Right. So I got this giant piece here, and I bought one of these big stands to hold big minis, but it's not. It doesn't have enough tension in the platform. So I have this big black rubber band around it to increase the tension, so it doesn't fall off. It's on there pretty good. But there we go. You can see my palette over there. Hi, can I help you?
Using all 4 iPads, are you?
Shithead. Yes. Be quiet. Start the show. Start the show.
Sorry, what? You probably know.
Goodbye.
Oh, is this your new playpen?
It's my new. What do you mean playpen? This thing?
Yeah.
I think
Mom got you?
She got.
It's for ages 3 and up.
There's you.
For 8 plus.
Try this show.
You know, kids use this, and you're a 54-year-old man.
Go away.
What's this for? What's
It
this?
is actually. I think it's a water pot, right? But I don't use it.
And the
Yeah.
rough part at the bottom is for like.
This is for mixing your paints, but I use a wet palette and whatnot. Diadems. This is my daughter, Lily, star of the show. With her Duke sweatshirt on. Yeah.
Okay.
Goodbye. Goodbye. And we have a new first time chatter. Orax break. Did I roll over your feet? I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to roll right over your feet. Okay, here we go.
Love me, love me, love me.
Okay, bye. Start the show. Thank you.
I ate all your cookies, by the way.
Nice. That's the so-called star of the show. But yeah. Orax Brave. Nice to see you. So, Orax Brave, you're a new first-time chatter. Nice. This is New Zealand Wednesday night. And on New Zealand Wednesday night, I paint D&D minis here in my hobby room. And on New Zealand Sundays, we play live D&D around the table with all our minis in terrain. So, good. And yes, I don't sound like I'm from New Zealand because I'm not. I've lived here for a long time, but I'm originally from the U.S. But yeah, I lived in New Zealand for a long time before I lived in England. So I'm like a lot. Not by design, just happened to become an expat in my life. Just chasing the jobs I've had. So I got to paint this guy. This massive. I'm not this good. Not the great a mini painter. So my minis are up there in the carousel on the screen. But yeah, Vahid. Oh, okay. Orax Brave. I watched Dice Legends before. I don't. I haven't watched in a long time, frankly. I don't know. There's the guy, the Pakeha guy who is the DM, the blonde haired dude. And I've seen several of you guys in that show. That's really cool. So, yeah. So Dice Legends. For those of you who are just here, just a few of you are here. Dice Legends is a D&D live play show out of Wellington, and also the kind again the DM guy whose name I don't know off the top of my head. He does in addition to their live play, which use minis and terrain, which I love. I love minis and terrain. I can see a bunch of terrain I got behind me and all my stuff on my Sundays. We have all our minis and terrain out, and but also you guys on Dice Legends do a variety of other things, kind of like streams about campaign creation and character creation, and I think you use a series of different rule sets. I mean, when I watch, you're typically 5e, but are you using different rule sets now? Anyways, Rox Brave, nice to have someone from Dice Legends. I appreciate it very much. Actually, you're again the DM from Dice Legends, the Pakeha guy. He maybe a year or so ago, he interviewed a friend of mine, a guy named Jay Scott, who's also known as Lord Gasumba on Twitch, and he streams from New Jersey, I think. A first edition, second edition, miniatures and terrain game. Been streaming it for. He's been playing in that campaign. He's been DMing that campaign for 45 years. I've met Jay Scott, Lord Gasumba a couple times. Okay, the podcast guy. Okay, thank you. So Vahid, you interviewed Jay Scott, and I know Jay from I'm a part of that kind of group of old school 1E, 2E D&D players, and I've been to Gary Con and met and hung out with Jay there and played in his games, and I'm going to Gary Con again this year. This year it's the third week in March. So yeah, I think I watched that show you did with Jay, and I think I even asked it. I want to say when you're interviewing with him, I asked the question, how does he come up with his ideas for scenarios? Because I had never talked to him about that. But yeah. Oh, well, Vahid, great. Thanks for being here. And then again, this is as I was saying earlier, I'm originally from the U.S., but lived here a long time. I'm in Auckland. And yeah, on Wednesday nights, we do mini painting. And on Sundays, midday, we do live around the table in my living room, my lounge. Just a few people here. Sometimes I get more viewers, but what I'm going to do is shout you out, and we'll shout you out again. Although, can I shout? No, Orax Brave. Okay, I'll do that. But yeah, awesome. I haven't been to Welly for a long time. I was probably last in Wellington, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I've never been to BD&D Games, but I got to go to BD&D Games. Oh, you record all podcast episodes. Awesome. Do you have a podcast? I listened to the Greycast podcast. This one, which maybe you're familiar with. Is it going to do that? Is it not going to do my thing? How come it's not doing my thing? Yeah, Greycast. It should do my thing. Oh, I can do this. So you might know the Greycast podcast. So I'm one of those kind of Greyhawk aficionados, but not in any way someone who doesn't appreciate other worlds. Yeah, very, very, very truthfully. Dungeon mastering is easy. Okay. If again, Oryx Brave, I'm no font of like networks here. But if you whispered me a link, I'd love to. I can broadcast it on this channel. Sometimes there's a couple people in the U.S. who are late nighters and might raid me, or people in Europe who might raid me, because right now it's like 7:45 in Belgium, as they say. I was going to go. Have you ever? Okay. Okay. Awesome. All right. Dungeon Master is easy. I'll actually. This is on all those kind of outlets like Apple Podcasts and Spotify and whatnot. If I just typed it in Spotify and here, would I get it? Awesome. So on my runs, I listen to either New York Times podcasts or Greycast. So now I can listen to yours too. And I gotta figure out what to do with this guy. So you might see up in the right hand of the screen there all my minis and stuff that I paint and all the terrain I create. I have on my 3D printer. And this guy is really next level. I don't know if I can do him justice, but we'll see. But to begin, I gotta start painting him. So I will do so. Let me think of how to do this. Get my wet palette here. Dungeon. I'm gonna. If I find it, launched last week. I'm gonna quickly Spotify it. If that's. Well, actually, I'll just look it up on the interwebs here. Dungeon mastering made easy. Vahid, I like your streaming setup. The room you stream out of with. I think you have like a mandolin or a ukulele maybe on the wall behind you, and kind of nice brickwork. I appreciate that. Well, I won't look it up right now. I won't take time on stream to look it up, but I will definitely look it up at some point in the future. Okay, this guy. I'm gonna do this. Ding, ding, ding. And he is, let's see, like this maybe. Pretty complicated guy. I'm gonna block him out and do some dry brushing on him to get him ready to paint in general. That's my plan here. So first, I guess, is his skin, and his skin is really pink. I gotta figure out a base coat color, and then what can be, and 2 layers of dry brush on top of that. So, actually, the first thing I might do is that skull down there, and I might do that in. So that skull where his feet are. I could do that in a medium gray, and then dry brush it in some whites and see what happens with that. So I'm gonna do that. Oh, now my paintbrush is out. Hey, Carmen. Brush is out. How are you? Evening. I've got this massive Ettin mini that I bought online from some dude on it. In New Zealand, we have a kind of like a Facebook D&D buying and RPG buying and selling page, and so I bought this guy off of that. He's all on sprues. Put him together. He's way beyond my ability, but we'll take about 10 months to paint this guy. Yeah, things are good. Gosh, things are good. I played D&D on the weekend with my high school buddies in the Pacific Northwest in the Seattle area, and just kind of like commiserating a bit about the state of the U.S. and just like, I was like, God, you guys, I'm just sorry that of whatever political persuasion you're of, it's a hard time. It's just a friggin' hard time. Yeah, lots of details in this guy. So many. So, for example, he's got, like, check it out. He's got some chickens hanging from his back belt. I love that. He has emergency chickens. His belt buckle is like a wooden shield with arrows sticking out of it. I know, this guy's insane. There was actually, as I put him together with this, I put him together. So underneath his, like, you know, his whatever leather, you know, midsection, there's actually underwear under that. You know, there's lots of stuff that you can't even see. Like, they made it so, I guess if you didn't want to have him with his clothes on, he was still had a, you know, a banana sling, which is what it was. I know. Playing is mentally pleasing, and it is fun as fucked. It's just, I mean, my God, just after Charlie Kirk's assassination, this is fucking incredible. I mean, I talked with my wife about it yesterday. I mean, she was a bit more kind of just like, you know, fuck it. They've done it to them, and we're both from the States. Okay? She was like, fuck it, they've done it themselves, they deserve this. And I was like, I don't know if I can be that dismissive of it. It's hard, it's so fucking hard. So right now I'm just painting this guy with these big colors and base coating everything, kind of slopping it on. I'll dry brush this stuff and then I'll paint it. So I doubt this is going to be like a 5-session paint job. Probably. But we don't necessarily come here for the exquisite painting, do we? Crying farmers. Oh my God. So what's the? I mean, I know. What's the farming demise? I mean, I keep up with news pretty seriously, but sometimes I'm like, I can't. You know, I'm done. Can't do anymore. I mean, are they just not getting their government subsidies? I know people in the U.S. cry socialism, but you know, of course, farmers are the biggest beneficiary of that. And full disclosure, people in my family are ranchers in Oklahoma. Well, they were, not anymore. They're too old now. But so I was, you know, I knew firsthand the government largesse given to my uncles in Oklahoma, who would like purposefully plant, like they would plant some particular crop that would fail. They know it would fail in this season or landscape, and they'd plant this crop to then get money because it failed. You know, this is happening. I'm a teenager kid and whatnot, and yeah. So my own family is part of that process. There's the skull he's sitting on. What's a FAFO? What's FAFO? Fucked up. I know what FUBAR is. So this guy is so big, it's hard to like, if I do this, I take him down, I can do that. There we go. Okay. So that's a big skull. Maybe I'll paint some other, these other bones I think I will do. Let's see, does any other bone stuff here I can paint? Fuck around and find out. Oh! Yeah, oh yeah. Let's just like, yeah, let's do whatever the fuck we want and see what sticks, and if it doesn't work out, you know, whatever. We never meant to do that anyways. That's how some people in my institution, how they work. Seriously. Everyone, yeah. Seriously. horns, and he's carrying this thing on his back. That skull of something on his back. I just love the emergency chickens he's got hanging from his belt. Hey, Cartman, are you interested in playing in Virtual Greyhawk Con 6? Jay Scott's gig. His, what's a Spike Lee joint? I'm thinking that. It's not Spike Lee's. So I'm DMing a game for Virtual Greyhawk Con 6. I'm like the first week of October. I have 2 slots left in my game out of 5. So, I mean, they'll get. But if you want to play, I can just send so-called tickets to people just to play. I want to say. I mean, it's kind of like VP. Oh my god, you're just reading about the fucking today I was reading about the, how they gave the whatever, the, I don't know, the Qataris or whatever, access to NVIDIA chips. It's so blatantly self-serving, the deals in this administration, which, I mean, I would say probably all administrations to a degree, right, do this. But my god, it's just so blatant. It's like, fuck you, watch what I'm doing. Right? Like they didn't they like give a bunch of like sell a bunch of NVIDIA chips to the Qatar. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, insanity. I don't know, man. But anyway, how's San Fran tonight? What's the wildlife? What's the wildlife like? I know. What Pam Bondi? I read that Pam Bondi today said they're gonna like go after people, go after companies that refuse to like print Charlie Kirk like banners. I'm like, dude, who thinks that's okay? I mean, it's just insanity. Insanity. Okay. Yeah, so we got these bones I paint on this guy, and I'm just slopping shit on it. It's gonna be cleaned up later. That skull. Okay, few 10 days. What is it? So it's fucking September? Really? So when I was a kid, we would call in the Northwest late hot summers Indian summers. I don't know if that's acceptable terminology these days or not, but is that what you got going on there in the Northwest, Indian summer? Seriously, in the Seattle area growing up, September could be a super nice month. Like late summer, finally gets warm. I don't know. Still use. Okay, let's say Indian summer. Okay. It's been a long time since I lived in that part of the world. We should have a game this weekend here in New Zealand on Sunday at my house, but it's not guaranteed yet. Only because one of my players has decided to take a break, and so I gotta kind of not scramble, and that's fine. And I'm not, maybe it's a good thing. And so I gotta kind of figure out what we're doing this weekend. Oldest year in a time. Okay. I've done those skulls. I think I'll do the base. I might just do the blaze. Well, I can do the blaze in black. A really dark gray. Maybe like German gray. I do the base in German gray. And I can dry brush it in kind of a white. And that skull will pop out. I'll do that. So you're gonna see me just paint this base in black. So again, this tonight is just blocking this creature out and seeing what we can do. It's gonna take me many sessions to paint this guy. Okay, Cold Bay Area temps. Hey, Cartman, do you know Curtis? His Twitch handle is Curtis CBL. Maybe he's from Bay Area, I think. He's on Lorgus Sumba's channel a lot. Sometimes it pops into other channels. He DMs on Lorgus Sumba's channel various things like Marvel superheroes, etc. Not that I'm not suggesting because you guys are both from the Bay Area that you know each other, but you know. Okay, you know him, Jay. Okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure he's Bay Area. Yeah. Okay, so I'm painting this base now. In here. Yeah, so actually we're just talking about weather. We're just getting warm weather in New Zealand. We're officially out of winter, officially. And seriously, it's like, oh my gosh, it did kind of happen all at once. All of a sudden we've got, I've kind of lost the ability to translate Celsius to Fahrenheit. And yeah, I'm not being snooty about it. I just so 18 degrees is a nice day, and I think 20 degrees is 69 Fahrenheit. 18 degrees is like high 60s. And at this time of year, 18 degrees it's like, oh my gosh, we've finally gotten into the warm days, as opposed to days where the high is 12. I think if 20 is 69, 10 is... I live in Auckland. I live in North Island, yeah. In Auckland, yeah. So... degrees centigrade, Celsius. I honestly don't know. 48-ish, mid 40s. You know, we've been in mid 40s, so we've been winter for a long time. Kind of a shitty, super wet winter. And so all of a sudden start getting like mid high 60s temps Fahrenheit. It's like, oh my gosh, that's nice. I can not turn the heat on in the house actually, and get the windows open. It's not in the summertime. I sleep with the windows wide open. But we have so much bird life in New Zealand. There's so many birds here. That, in the summertime, when it starts getting light at like 4:30 a.m., the birds start going off. And I'm like, oh my Jesus. So I have to get up and close the windows because the birds are fucking losing their mind. Waking me up. Yeah, so we're kind of right where you are now. You guys are in autumn, and we're in spring, and yeah, for us it's like the same temps. And yeah, so the South Island is far less densely populated. The biggest city in New Zealand is Auckland, of about 1.1 million people. The entire country is a little over 5 million people, right? So, 20% of the country lives in my city. So yeah. The South Island is far less populated. Right about that. And the seat of the power centers of New Zealand used to be the South Island. and it was called the mainland compared to the North Island, which is the hinterland. But things have changed. There's a lot of reasons for that, I think. Yeah. Hey, Excel. No emus. No. So I don't think New Zealanders have been defeated. Actually, yeah, you're right, Carbon. There's like, yeah. Seriously, there's lots of Scots in the South Island. Seriously. Highland Games festivals, etc. You're totally right about that. And Excel, welcome, hello, good to have you here. Yeah, I would say that in terms of colonization, which is an ugly thing, absolutely, New Zealand, in terms of the Pacific, Maori, New Zealanders, and to some degree, this is I'd say a point of pride, is that Maori have perhaps the history of colonization here is different than other places, like Hawaii, for example. So, I would say, having lived a long time in Hawaii and being married to a native Hawaiian, and having lived a long time in New Zealand, that the history of colonization in Hawaii has had I would say, a greater detrimental effect on native Hawaiians than the history of colonization has had on Maori. That's not to say the history of colonization has not been incredibly detrimental to Maori. And I don't know what I shouldn't get into this here, but I don't know what the reasons for that are. Well, I can talk about it, but the kind of state of play, lay of land, the political situation, the distribution of population in both those places upon European arrival was different. I have seen Once for Warriors. Yeah, Once for Warriors is an incredibly powerful film, and Lord of the Rings is filmed both North Island and South Island. I have like a road atlas that has the typical road atlas like you get for driving around, right? And this one I have has a bunch of the film locations of. So most of the film was filmed on South Island, where the landscape is, yes, more dramatic. However, there are places within a couple of hours of my house that are filmed locations. So Hobbiton, where all the Shire is filmed, is about a 2-hour drive south from my house. It's in a small town called Mata Mata, and it actually is still Hobbiton. It's a tourist attraction. You can go there. I have motorcycles. I do lots of motorcycle trips. And a couple of years ago, I was driving down south from my house on a day trip, and the landscape was totally like Weathertop, from Lord of the Rings. And indeed, I looked at my atlas, and like the film location for the Weathertop scenes, I was driving right through that. I didn't even know it. Yeah. So yeah, it's filmed in both. Lots of locations around Wellington. The massive, dramatic mountain scenes, mostly South Island. Mount Doom, literally, Mount Doom, is a 3-hour drive south from my house. The Maori name for Mount Doom is this. Let me write it down here, and you can just Google this. Sorry. That's the Maori name of Mount Doom, Naruhoe. If you Google that, that's just next to my house. I mean, not sorry, next to my. It's in the central North Island, and yeah, it's It's a nice place to visit. It's pretty fucking cool. I'm gonna National Park. It's also in a place called the English name is National Park. Is that? I'm trying to find like. I mean, anyways, I won't look up it. But yeah, it's not that difficult if you worked in the Pacific a long time. Actually, the nice thing about Pacific Island languages is that when they were transcribed into English by mostly missionaries, but also Pacific Islanders, all of the so in Te Reo Maori, all the letters always sound the same. So it's not like English where you have the word phone, PHON, where all of a sudden P and H is F. They don't do that. It's just like if you know the sound of the letters, they always sound the exact same. So you just gotta know how the letters sound out, and then you can see a new word and sound it out well, without having to worry about that this is a different pronunciation because it's always the same. That's German? Oh, no, German. So many English speakers say Maori, but it's Maori. The A and the O. A-O combined. A-O. So Maori. That's how you say Maori. And an A and O will always sound like a ow. It will never sound different in Te Reo Maori. Te Reo just means Maori language. Okay, sorry, this guy here. Yeah, Maori. Maori. Not like Maori. I don't know. Maori. Mo. It's a big round vowels. But because I work a lot in the Pacific, I work in places like Samoa mostly. And it's the same. So it's kind of, I've been here for a long time. I think so Maori. 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 It's hard though. I'm not at all a good language speaker. Because there's the word Maori, and then there's the word Mauri, which means like spirit or life force, and that's Maori. Maori versus Maori. So yeah, I'm not your expert on pronunciation, that's for certain. Okay, now I think I might do this guy's skin. I know, New Zealand, but if you've been following Cardman, and then New Zealand, 5-10 years ago, the All Blacks were, by any metric, the winningest sports team on the planet in history. I mean, their record was from the early 20th century. They were, obviously, considering all sports, they had the winningest record of any sport in any team anywhere. I don't know if that's still the case. When I first moved here, the manager, what's it called, coach in U.S. English, I forget his name, frankly, but the winningest sports team ever, and they're struggling now. I think they are. I think they might be ranked number 1 in the world, but they lost. So South Africa is here for a tour, and New Zealand, we beat South Africa last week in a stadium here in Auckland called Mount Eden Stadium, which they haven't lost at since 1994. So any test match played at Mount Eden Stadium is like hugely consequential because they have not lost there for fucking 30 years. They beat the Springboks at Mount Eden Stadium last week, and they lost them like 2 days ago in Wellington or Christchurch. Like they got destroyed by them, like 40 something to 10. And so in the last 5-8 years, the All Blacks have been up and down, not invincible as they used to be. And so people are wondering what the fuck's going on. They really are. Okay. I gotta paint this guy's skin. I've just done that skull and that base. And again, I'm just blocking stuff out, and it's gonna take a long time to paint this guy. The bones on the skull on his back, the same color as the skull under his foot. So now I'm gonna do his skin. And I'm kind of looking at this. Here's a picture I have. There he is. So his skin is kind of pinky brown. So I might do kind of a dark pinky. Over here. You can see my beer. Oh. Lomu. Jonah Lomu. Lomu, I think you mean, right? Yeah. And yeah, he's hugely famous here. Hugely famous. Okay, if I do kind of a lightish, my goodness, I could do that skin color. I'm looking at my, give me a sec to look at my skin colors, guys. I'm just, not skin color, but colors. Yeah, now, maybe, that's pretty dark. I might use this though, sandalwood. Do his skin in sandalwood, and then I can lighten it. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Okay, sandalwood skin. Yeah, this guy's super, I mean, I'm not gonna stress on him. I'm gonna take a long time to paint him. Slowly wins the race. Slowly wins the race. By the way, welcome everyone who's here. Thanks for being here. This is our Wednesday night New Zealand mini painting stream. Just kind of shooting the shit, slowly painting a complex mini. Maxi, really. This guy's big. I might go get him a drink in a sec. Paint down here. Yeah, I'm gonna paint this guy. Jonah Lomu, yeah. Let's do that. With his feet. This paint is actually not a very good. Strange, well, not strangely. Paints have very different consistencies, and some paints are really, from some suppliers, are really high quality. It's going nicely. Other paints not as much. You're like, God, this paint from this company is just not doing it for me. Then use a different, maybe a different paint from the same company is okay. Or you gotta go to different company. They have maybe they have a different like blend or something. I don't know. I think I'm okay with this scale 75 though for the skin on this dude. But it is somewhat of a concern, I guess. I'm gonna smash a bunch of paint on this guy with this big brush, and then go to a smaller brush. It is. I've never painted a mini this complex, dude. Seriously. Seriously. This is not your normal This mini is actually, so this was a company, Dungeons and Lasers, I think, and it's I'm so losing my mind. What's it called? It's a Kickstarter company, and so you join the Kickstarter. You got these minis, and I bought this off a guy here in New Zealand who had like a couple of these, and he didn't need multiple ones. And so, yeah, so it's super complex mini, not like your normal WizKids thing. Yeah, and I've never painted something this complex. And so, like I said, I'm not gonna over worry it. I'll just paint the guy, and I mean, I'm sure I can do a decent job. But it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be a professional job. That's for certain. But I can do a decent job over time. Yeah, but you're right. It is complex. That's for goddamn sure. I mean, where do you watch? So, I do not have Sky Sports. So Sky Sports is the main sports watching venue channel here, but it costs like $100 a month, and so I'm unwilling to do that. But I would definitely watch Champions League matches, absolutely. What I do have is Disney Plus because my family likes all this shit on that, and Disney Plus has got ESPN in this part of the world, so I do watch like NBA and what's it called? The tennis. I like watching Roland Garros and U.S. Open. I don't know if they have. I know they do not have Champions League on Disney Plus. I'm pretty goddamn certain about that. Ugh. Oh, Carbon, I know Darling Creep Show. Yeah, absolutely. I know. I actually haven't hung out on her channel for a long time. But no, I know Darling Creep Show. I played in a couple games with her on Superior Adventures Guild. I played with Darling on some games on DM Dave's channel. I met her at GaryCon last time I was there. So yeah, she is enough. So she does hate minis, and she's kind of. I mean, I want to say self-taught, and as we all are, I guess. But she's good. So I remember when Darling Creepshow was first painting minis, and maybe I was kind of like equivalent to her in skill, but she's far eclipsed me. Far fucking eclipsed me. That's for goddamn certain. Yeah. Absolutely. Darling Creepshow kind of comes on during my work time a lot. And so during work in my office, if I can, like I'll watch Jay's stream in the background while I'm doing stuff. And sometimes Darling streams as well. Yeah. She is fun. Absolutely. She was super nice at GaryCon a couple years ago when I met her there. So, yeah. Yeah, died. Hey, Grey League. How you doing, man? Kia ora. If any of you guys are Greyhawk aficionados out there, you should really check out Grey League's YouTube channel. I've talked about it before on this channel, and I think I have. What do you do in Hungary? Are you traveling or are you working? Grey League is also known as Oranir on the Greyhawk channels, etc. So you might, if you know Oranir, that is Grey League. So this mini, as we've been talking about, is a massive. Your mom? Why'd your mom go to? I assume it's because it's cheap. I'm guessing it's easier to retire in Hungary, or cheaper to retire in Hungary than it is to retire in Belgium, right? Is that the case? Is this going to make sense? I would assume. Cheap. Yep, exactly. That's what I thought. If we still lived in London, we'd retire to Poland. No, I don't know. I'm slapping paint on this guy to block him out, as I like to say. So, if you guys think I'm just being overly careless, it's really I'm just blocking him out. His ogre legs. So that's one ogre leg. Yeah. Ogre leg here. Yeah, this guy's crazy. He's just like, look at this thing. My favorite part of him is the chickens hanging from his back belt. Got 2 chickens hanging there. Emergency chickens. Crazy mini. And sorry, you can't always see what I'm doing here with him. So, this is a curious thing that's happened just today. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he is watching, that's fine. But, Sam has decided to no longer play, not at least for the time being, not play D&D with me on Sundays. He said he's just not enjoying himself, and I respect that, and I'm fine with that. I just don't think the 1E rule set was what Sam wanted, and that's fine. That's totally fine. Because the 1E rule set, it is less. Everything is much more up for negotiation. The rules are not so clear cut compared to 5E, and so it's mechanically more organic. And I don't think, again, Sam, if you're watching this, I think it's fine for me to say this. It was Sam's cup of tea. And that's fine. And so, at least for the time being, Sam's not going to be joining me for Sunday D&D. He did have a see. Yeah, look at this guy. It is indeed, yeah. I mean, well, I don't mind that. I like, kind of like, well, whatever. I guess because the rules are less clear cut, one could argue it gives the DM more power. But, a good DM, I think, wouldn't abuse that ambiguity. Would say, let's discuss this, but here's what I think, and this is the best way to do things, etc. So that's the way I try to play the game. But even if you even try, some people don't like. I think that kind of what do you say? Discussion about what is the best ruling. They just want it more clear cut. I guess. And again, there's no right or wrong there. It's just this is a system, and if you don't like it, that's okay not to like it. It just happens to be the system that I'm currently wanting to keep playing. So yeah, I told Sam today. I said, "Hey Sam, that's fine. I understand. But if you ever want to come back, it's not, just let's talk about it." So there might be come back in the future. Yeah, out of the box actions. Yeah, some people like that, some people don't, and yeah, I don't know how whatever. I'm okay. Right now I'm okay with it. I kind of, frankly, who have I talked to or read and talked about combat in 5e combat is at higher levels is difficult for the DM. because there's so much you really can't keep track of what people can do. It's just not possible. And so you're always reacting to what PCs can do instead of like designing encounters. And that's just not. I just don't. So, for example, I am playing my virtual GaryCon game in Jay's stream. I am doing 5e. But the characters I will provide will be 4th level. And at 4th level, characters do not in 5e do not have so many special abilities that I can't control. I can't figure it out and keep a handle on it. Higher levels, it gets more difficult. And actually, I do kind of like the 5e at lower levels. I do like the 5e rules because they are more regimented. So in a con game, low level 5e, mid level 5e con game, that's a nice rule set to run because everyone's got kind of like, okay, it's your turn, you can move, action, bonus action, bam, bam, bam. Okay, now your turn, bam, bam, bam. And for a con game, that kind of system is helpful at low levels. But for a home game, and especially at higher levels, to me that system just gets really broken in what I've experienced. And I think, well, I'm pretty sure Tom, you'd agree. Just got so the game, my last several 5e games, sorry, I played S1 Horse in 16 hours today's to be not. I know it is so fat. Combat's so fast in 1e compared to 5. So fast. And yeah, so in my last campaign with running 5e, people were 10th, 11th level. I mean, they were really fucking invincible. No matter what I thought, I could never gauge an encounter well enough. Maybe that's my fault. To make it nail biting. It was always a fucking cakewalk. I felt in the end, and I was just like, God damn it. Yeah. Just couldn't get it. I couldn't dial it in well enough. Perhaps my own. I don't know. I'm also playing in Les Reno, Oblivion Seeker. I'm playing in his 5e game in Virtual Greyhawk Con. I played with Les before. Les has his own house rules for 5e, as do I, and they do make it more deadly. Les's house rules. Oh, fuck around. Time 2e is precious. That clear rules suddenly change people and not being created. Yeah, no, they you're right. And I agree greatly, absolutely. And I think we know this. We agree, and so yeah, I'm always not always, but like I was trying to. One of the things I've said to players is like, and Grayly, you said the same thing. I probably got this by playing with you. Is like, don't look at your character sheet to figure out what do you want to do. Just say, what do you want to do? And then we'll figure it out, how to adjudicate it. I think that's the better way to play. What do you want to do? Okay. And of course, considering what you are, like, if you're a thief, you're not gonna say, I want to fucking charge into battle with my lance. Okay, well, come on, dude. That's not really what you do. We all know that. Start over. My players always used to say to me that they were playing against too high level monsters. I responded, "Play better." Yeah, that's what you said. Fucking play better. um, kids move. Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to get these folks that I play with now who have played 5e almost entirely. Although Sam had also played Pathfinder and two. Hey, Excel, cool. And it's hard, if you're not a medieval battlefield specialist, I would tell the people who started playing 5e who are now playing 1e, I'd tell them, you can't rely upon your character actions, bonus actions, etc. to win the battle. You guys gotta think, you're here. Look at the battlefield. What should you do? Should you move over there to block the attacks of that monster on your colleague so they can then escape? Then that's what you should do. There's no kind of like 5e, there's no mechanic in this game that says like, for my bonus action, I can use my shield to add to the AC of my buddy who's within 5 feet of me. That's kind of like the 5e specific mechanic that doesn't exist in 1e or 2e, where you simply have to look at the situation and say, I'm going to go over there to help my friend. And it's just not, they don't have the mechanic for it. And so players need to think more about what they're doing and why in 1e and 2e. And again, I'm not saying that people who don't like 1e, 2e can't think. That's not the case at all. It's just a different style of play than 5e, where those kinds of possibilities are more specifically written down in mechanics, in rules. Okay. After that little screed, I'm going to go quick break. I'll be right back. Really good to have you all here. I love talking about this stuff. Be right back. Maybe 1 minute. Yeah. Okay, Oxbrave. Oraxbrave, sorry. The play style of how us 1E players play those models and how most new players with F2 play 5e. Quite different indeed. And yeah, I seriously do not want to suggest that one is better than the other. They're different play styles, and I play 5e, played it for years now. I kind of just like, I've gotten back into 1e, 2e, and I honestly, I like it for some nostalgia reasons. It's what I played growing up. I like it for that. The strategic focus of old school games, the narrative focus of a new approach. It is, yeah. Probably die in both of them. That's funny. Tuesday once a week meant you just didn't over deliberate stuff. Yeah. Taurus, yeah. Yeah. I do, yeah, and I don't know. I mean, different play styles. I mean, in my weaker moments, I describe 5e as for the video game and selfie generation, right? As you just said, Oryx Brave. So, by the way, you guys, if you Oryx Brave, he has I'm trying to find a podcast here in New Zealand that is called Dice Legends, and let me kind of he's they do Legend DZ, is that how you do it here? Oh fuck. Nice. Oh, I can't find you on here. Vahid, I don't have. Oh, there. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Let me do something here. Okay. Yeah. And so go to, if I may ask you to. Whatever. I don't have my shout out because I can't shout out Oryx Brave, but I can do this. So that's a Dice Legends Twitch channel. And those guys broadcast from Wellington, and they do live play and other kind of campaign development and character development, etc. So go check out Dice Legends. The few of you who are here, seriously, if you poach what you would be murdered for a social camp for reskin Samoans. Hold on, what was that? What are you asking, Oryx? Sorry. I did. It didn't mean you were next. She's time conscious. As I played with Carlos Lysine at GaryCon, and he does a lot of D&D 1E, and he's known as a tough DM. As I remember him saying, he said 1E D&D is all about resource management. One resource being time, right? It's a resource management game. So if you poached Samoans for D&D, what would be your word for a social encounter for reskin Samoans? Yeah, absolutely, Oryx Brave, absolutely. So Excel, I work in Samoa a lot. So Oryx Brave, so I'm a professor at Auckland Uni, and my research is in the Pacific Islands, and I work mostly in Samoa, but also Fiji and Hawaii and whatnot. But yeah, what question would you? So how would you kind of take Samoan or Polynesian culture and meld it into a D&D scenario? Is that what you're asking, Excel? You do have a Pacific table, and that's super nice. So Oryx Brave, Grey League, if you don't mind me saying, Grey League. Grey League is from Europe. Grey League lived in New Zealand for the last several years. He was a high school teacher at Kelston Girls near my house. And so he knows now about kind of Auckland, New Zealand, Pacific Islander culture. Yeah. A Matai, yeah, Excel. Matai is a chief. Matai is just the Samoan for chief. Gosh, what would be a Samoan-centered D&D scenario? Well, Samoa is a hierarchical society, traditional society with two different, in general, two lines of chiefs, and yeah, communal, and most property in Samoa is traditional or ancestral owned, so communally owned by lineages. How could that be translated to, like, I don't know. So you could imagine a lineage-based war about land resources, where chiefs and their followers were battling each other. That would be that would fit within a Samoan worldview, I would say. Hey, Oryx Brave, yeah, thanks for being here, man. I have enjoyed your stream, and I will redouble my efforts to watch more of it. So thanks very much for being here, and yeah, hope to catch you soon. Yep. So Trish Talker, I'm painting this giant guy I put together over the last couple sessions. I'm really just massively blocking him out. Super sloppy kind of stuff right now before I get serious in the sessions to come. Sounds like Armenians. Well, lots of traditional societies, right? Non-industrialized societies. Land tenure is based on family lineages. Well, but also sometimes those family lineages are taken over by larger chiefly systems of politics, like in Hawaii. But so I'm surprised, Excel, you knew the term Matai. Yeah, Matai is the Samoan word for chief. There's actually different kinds of Matai. In Samoa, there is what are called ali'i, which are the higher ranking Matai or chiefs, and there's another line of chiefs or Matai called Tulafale, and they are what you might call the talking chiefs, the orators, the spokespeople. So Great League Trish in the house, yeah. I did enjoy the Flemish photos, yeah. I did see your post in Discord, Great League, yeah. Hey Trish Talker, got something to tell you, which is a development. I haven't talked to you and Alex about this yet, but Sam has decided to not to not do Sunday D&D anymore, at least for a while. So it doesn't like change I would say it doesn't like mean the game's over at all. It just means we need to continue the game without Sam's character. And I still am hopeful to play this Sunday. I have not heard from Alex, but I'll talk to her. I'll email her directly tonight or tomorrow. And it could be you, Alex, me, and perhaps Allison Jiss. But we'll move forward. And as you may know, you probably recognized last session, Sam was disconnected, not interested, not playing, essentially. And he texted me about that, said he's just no longer having fun with the game. And I said that's totally fine. The first edition rules are not for everyone, and no hard feelings if you want to not play, absolutely. And he was like, yeah, everything's cool, and all good, I just not having fun. And so I said, that's fine. If you're not having fun, don't play. That's fine. Yeah. And I realize I'm, to some degree, right, the DM, me, forces you guys to play the rule set I want to play. That's, I don't know, to some degree, the prerogative of the DM. If you don't want to play with the DM, you don't have to play with the DM. That's fine. It's totally fine. But I do want to keep playing this 1E2 game, at least for some more time. And but maybe I'll contact Allison. And I do have a scenario. I have ideas to move the storyline forward, but actually focus on your character for the time being, for the next session or two. So it could be you, Alex. Maybe I can get Allison in to play Jade Willow, your new thief NPC. So, anyways, hopefully we can sort it out this the next day or two. So, if you don't mind waiting and being a bit flexible, hopefully we'll play Sunday. But if not, we'll play soon thereafter, and we'll just kind of keep it going if that's all right. I have multiple people in the wings who know about my game and are curious to play. And they include Allison. They include Caitlin at uni, Caitlin Smith. They include Callie's husband. So at least 3 folks who have all expressed interest in wanting to play. And I haven't it's all, Greyhawk, it's all my uni people, okay? I do have students lined at the door. Yeah, Nellis. Nellis is curious to play. And as is Allison. And I simply haven't had the time to kind of and the mental capacity to kind of think about inviting them and integrating them into the game, etc. And I don't know, not training them, but bringing them up. And so maybe now's the time. So yeah. So I still am willing to play this weekend. I'm going to plan for it, but we'll have to make a final decision in the next 48 hours or so while I kind of see who does what and who is where, etc. Yeah. But we'll work it out. And yeah, it was obvious. He's so elite. No, dude, seriously. Jaya was saying, Greg, that's another one of my MA students. Jay was saying that there's, people feel there's a post-grad hierarchy amongst Ethan's students and those who, he invites to play D&D and those he doesn't. And I guess that's kind of true. Not really, but whatever. So we'll see. But, it's just, I would rather have... everyone be happy at the table, myself included, of course. And if Sam's watching, I don't think Sam would mind me saying this. Sam, is an awesome player. And, well, I'd say we all have ups and downs, and Sam has good times at the table and bad times at the table. And I think in the 1E rule set, he has more bad times at the table than good times. And that's fair to recognize and say, I'm not into this. That's fine to recognize. I appreciate Sam's candor with me. Just saying, hey, dude, I'm not interested anymore. Because that's essentially what he said to me on Discord in a private message. So that's totally fine. I guess I don't think I have ever seen. What? Time to get late earrings. What? Hold on. What is this? Why I feel so late? This is a club. I'll take it. The elite earrings out. Yeah. What? You have Trish Talker. You haven't seen what? I don't quite understand what you're saying, but I want to understand. So. Elaborate? What do you mean? You haven't seen what? What? Oh, that I'm got an elite D&D crew. No, you guys haven't. Because it's not true. So I've kind of got this guy's skin done. I might go do some other parts of his skin, or rather redo it. So there's this guy. Pretty impressive looking. Yeah. He is. Favorites, I know. No hierarchy. No hierarchy. No favoritism. Seriously. I might get Jay to play someday. One of my MA students, Grey League. Yeah, died. She died. Fuck, I think, yeah. We'll see. Who knows? But yeah, it's all fun. It's all good. I do want to play this weekend, but we'll shut up, Grey League. Yeah, no. In the last session of our 5e game, Lost Kansas Sajkan, indeed, she died. Now, I never, Trish Talker, and this has been to my eternal shame. Don't worry, I forget nothing. I never wrote a session report for that session where she died. And it's bugging me forever. So maybe one of these days I'll write a session report for that. And I haven't, and I do too sad to write. No, just too fucking busy. Fuck, I don't care if you die. You die, you die. No, that's not true. It is, yeah, God. Although, Alex Queen, in the last couple sessions of our game, so Grey League, right now Alex Queen plays a standard fighter type, but she's a 19-year-old. She rolled for age, she's 19. And the way Alex is playing that is like, look, I'm 19 years old, I'm totally unconcerned about living or dying. I don't have any kind of like mortality complex. And that fits Alex's playstyle because she always fucking dies. I can appreciate that. Although, I think Alex she's probably gonna die soon. She always dies. Really, yes, I talked to you about Alex in your game. And I know you are perhaps not super interested in that. And that's fine. And yeah, I mean, obviously, frankly, I'm not gonna, be your go-between. I think I told Alex, I said something like, I gave Tom your contacts, and that's all I'm gonna do. It's not my game. It's not my table. Not my call. I can give you contacts, and that's all I'm gonna do. It's not my call. Not my table. Oh, Trish Talker, no, Trish Talker, that comment, those comments I made on Discord, they weren't, well, to be honest, I'm gonna say, yes, I'm gonna say they were aimed at Sam. Only because Sam was complaining about the rules and the rules about movement and combat. And I was like, look, all rules have logics to them. They're not superfluous and stupid. They have particular logics. You can disagree with the logic, and that's fine. But you should understand the logic. And so I wanted people to reread my cheat sheet. That here is why this is the logic behind the 1E rules. You can disagree, and that's fine, but they're not just idiotic. They have a logic. And so that's why I said that. I didn't want, okay, Grey League, awesome. Say hi to your mom for us. And go get one of those big strawberry tarts. Oh, no, you're in Hungary. What do they have in Hungary? I mean, what's the food in Hungary? Don't join a gay pride march, okay? That's all I'm going to say, right? Don't do that in Hungary. Belgian Tom, Belgian Mom. Anyway, Church Talker, I got kind of like, in all honesty, I got annoyed with the snarky comments about stupid 1E rules. And I was like, look, the rules are this way, here's the logic behind them, and, it's just the logic behind them, and, they're not stupid, they have a different logic basis. If you don't like it, you can go away, or we can play something else, but here's the logic behind it, and that's why I asked people to, Sam was, well, I don't think, he was just like, sorry, Sam, if you're watching, I'm not sorry. This is how you obviously in the last session were not having fun. You were not enjoying yourself. And I interpreted some of the comments to be, these rules are ridiculous. And I just wanted people to reread the rules so they knew the logic behind it. And not just say they're ridiculous, but say, I don't agree with the premise. And that's fine to not agree with the premise, but just to dismiss stuff out of hand, I can't abide by. Anyways, so Trish Talker, Sam was spending the entire last session like making a new character and not playing, not enjoying himself. As he told me, he wasn't enjoying himself. That's fine. And yeah, so. But, I don't know. Yeah. I do like the, yeah. I said, I like the 1E rules, in all honesty, in part because it's nostalgic for me. It's what I played as a kid. That's why I like the 1E rules. Nostalgia, which may not be a logical reason to like a rule set, but whatever, it's why I like it. I like the, as I said earlier, maybe you weren't here yet, Trish Talker, but 5e rules, because the rules are really complicated and therefore difficult for a DM to kind of like get a handle on everything, especially at higher levels. And in 1E rules, there's less of that character complications. More things are kind of like decided on the fly by agreement. Well, hopefully by agreement between the players and the DM. That's kind of what I like. I just find it literally just more fun, that approach. Yeah. But so for this weekend, we'll hopefully, if we can't figure out, I'll email Allison tonight or tomorrow, and she can maybe see if she's played D&D before, but I don't know what her rule set is in the past. We'll see what Alex is doing. It might be, yes. I thought, okay, Ethan and his all-girl team of D&D players. Maybe it's you and Allison and Alex. But we'll see. But yeah, Nellis, we'll get maybe Callie's partner in here. We'll work it out. I'm not worried. I'm happy to keep things moving forward with a different set of people, and we'll see how it works. Totally happy with it. Totally fine. And this guy, he's looking not bad. This guy's looking not bad. You need gal power. There is, hey, okay, Excel, here you are. Fa'amatai, so Fa'amatai means the culture around the Samoan chiefly system. So Fa'a in Samoan language is kind of like the to be verb in English, but not exactly. So Fa'a is a language construction. Is it a verb? I don't know. Which is kind of about efficacy. So, fa'amatai is typically translated in English as the chiefly way, the chiefly system. You could also say fa'asamoa, which is translated as the Samoan way. So, doing things in the, you could say, yeah, the way of. So, yeah, the way of. So, fa'asamoa is the Samoan way of doing things. The word for culture, you could say anganu'u. So, anganu'u Samoa is like, kind of like means like Samoan culture. Like doing something in terms of anganu'u Samoa means like doing things in the Samoan way. Or fa'asamoa is an easier way to say that. Yeah. So that's what the word fa'a means. F-A glottal stop A in Samoan. D&D Gal Power and Ethan. That required moderate duties. Well, this guy's looking, I mean, so this is my long-term project. This guy. Just kind of slowly building him up. This is going to be a multi-stream guy. Multi-stream paint job. Now maybe there's the emerging chickens. Pure Stalker hanging off his belt. He does give out cheap. I mean, look at this guy. That thing on his back, this massive skull on his back, yeah. Okay, so now maybe I will do his gross leather kind of smock stuff he's wearing. Let me look at this picture here. Let's see. Kind of rough. So, you know, I don't like to always do what the directions say, but this is give me a good idea. This is a picture of this guy painted. Sorry, no. There he is, painted. And it gives me an idea. And it's like, it's pretty light brown. I can do a light brown on that. I'm probably gonna do a dark brown and then I'll dry brush. So then I'll do a dark brown for his leather stuff. Ettin. Training weapons particularly. Excel, I would say that there is throughout Polynesia, I don't know what you might call martial arts. And I don't mean that in the East Asian kind of ninja sense. I just mean the arts of warfare, so martial arts. So there's Hawaiian martial arts, a series of kind of like weapons and positions and movements in Hawaiian martial arts. There's also that in Samoan. And there are groups in Samoa that practice that kind of martial artistry that is steeped in Samoa. But I honestly don't know if there are different kind of traditionally sets of martial behaviors for women versus men in Samoa. Just as if I don't know if it's the case in Fiji or Hawaii or whatever place I've worked. I kind of doubt it, honestly. And of course, this is all traditional knowledge and revitalization, and not of contemporary use. So there's not a contemporary system of, you know, Samoan defense of stuff, right? But there is I can't remember. I'm trying to rack our brain to figure out the name of it. There is a name for a term for Samoan martial arts. God, I can't remember what it is. There is also Gallus. There is also that for Hawaii, and I can't remember the name for that either. But because my wife is in that realm, and I can't remember what it's called, honestly. Okay, so I'm gonna paint this guy schmock now, and I think I'm gonna do it in a kind of darkish brown that I can then do in different colors later. So darkish brown. Looking around, he's got pinky skin. They have been painted really light, actually really yellow on that painting there. I'm just curious if there are any markings for women. If they sit somewhere like the side of the yeah. I really don't know, Excel. I don't think in Polynesia generally there are distinct martial traditions for women versus men. Not to my knowledge. Although my knowledge is not great. I'm an archaeologist and not a specialist in contemporary or historically recorded Polynesian culture. I'm just not. For better or worse. So I really don't know. I don't think there is though. But I could very well be wrong. I wonder if I should use this kind of paint. This fur brown. Or I use it should even darker. Like black red. And then dry brush it. Oh really? Okay, Trish Talker. Well, Trish Talker, I assume you know how to answer that. We don't know. And yes, in a worldwide ethnographic sample, women make pottery more often than men. But how, as you know, how valid is that worldwide ethnographic sample? How well does that apply to Polynesia? Totally unknown. Totally unknown. Yeah, I'm sure you said that. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd be totally cool that you would know how to talk about it. Um, as I talked about, yeah, biases yesterday in lecture, and I thought that was a really good question that Sophie Lynn had asked, and I was kind of not chagrined, but I was like, okay, yes, that's. I don't want anyone to think that like Europeans are biased and indigenous populations are not. No, that's not the case. Everyone, all disciplines have a bias, and bias is not necessarily a negative thing. It's simply it exists, and we should recognize bias and try to mitigate its effects on our knowledge. That's all. So Excel, in Samoa, like in the archipelagos around Samoa, when people first got there about 3,000 years ago, they immediately started changing the environment. Not necessarily in a ruthless way, so as you put it, but as populations grew, yes, forests were more and more impacted by. But it wasn't for necessarily Excel for making canoes. It was for growing food. You generally can't grow food in a forest. You just can't. To grow food, you need sunlight, and you can't grow food in a forest. There is food in a forest. There's mast, but there's not. You can't. You can practice arboriculture in a managed forest, but to grow food, you have to remove the forest for the most part to then grow it. And so that's what Polynesians did to make their islands more productive. That's what they did. This paint's not going on very nicely at fucking all. Jesus. Yeah. So I was in the land currents. I'm not sure how fragile some were on some islands. Okay. Yeah, so all the islands in the Pacific were rather well, and kind of like I'll say the I'll use the term the remote Pacific, but in inverted commas quotation. So yeah, many Pacific islands that were, not long inhabited by people. Yes, they were vulnerable virgin ecosystems. Easter Island being one of them too, but even Easter Island was. What'd you say? So Easter Island, even Easter Island, was like carefully managed to provide food as much as possible. Easter Island is very marginal, and the kind of activities that ancient Easter Islanders engaged in actually made the island more productive than it was. And there's a lot. And Excel, if you really want to know, I can send you stuff offline. Just let me know. Just like whisper me, and I'll send you research articles on this. So Easter Island in particular wasn't like destroyed by the ancient Rapa Nui. They actually made it more habitable for people, which is not something in the popular press. The popular press, in particular Jared Diamond, argues that Easter Island was destroyed by the original inhabitants in a form of ecocide, but really it was actually made more habitable, to be just brutally, quickly honest about it. It was made more productive in terms of the amount of people it could support by removal of the forest and creation of an agricultural landscape. That's the case. Carmen, hey man, good night. Carmen, thanks for being here, man. Always like talking to you. Appreciate you being here. So see you next time, all right? Crash. Take care. Tough pain in here. Difficult. Easter Island would definitely be tough to settle. And many aspects of the Easter Island cultural, linguistic, biological, and archaeological records suggest it was settled by much smaller populations and by much fewer kind of like instances of settlement than other East Polynesian islands, and we know that clearly. And yes, so all those things are true. Oof. So I'm painting this guy. This guy's so big. It's not I have to keep moving the camera around so people can see what I'm doing. I'm not used to having to. Usually the minis I paint are kind of small, right? So I can kind of like get away with just like having the camera in one position, and it doesn't matter. But God, this guy's so friggin' giant. I gotta move him around all the time to. Oh God, I gotta get in. How do I fucking get in there? Jesus. I'm gonna go like this. Yeah. So really just smacking the paint on this guy. And again, it's going to take sessions and sessions. And eventually I think he'll be good. And you'll see, and you'll agree with me. That. So the botanical system migrated. Yeah, absolutely. It's depauperate in all kinds of flora and fauna. For East isn't beyond the distance that stray reptiles could. I do not know if there's any native reptiles on Easter. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. There's no flying mammals. No fucking. There's no mammals, indigenous mammals, east of Vanuatu. Maybe even east of the Solomons. No, east of Solomons. No indigenous land mammals. Sorry, there are indigenous bats. Indigenous there's bats. Bats make it to the Pacific without people. Bats, yeah, bats. Nothing else though, as far as I know. Actually, this is Trish Talker's area, especially in her research, more than my own. So you really should be asking these questions of Trish Talker. She's the expert, more so than I would say. Okay. I don't honestly off the top of my head. I don't know if there's indigenous reptiles on Easter. I don't know. There are of course indigenous reptiles in New Zealand, but they're also from Gondwana land. So the tuatara is an indigenous reptile, but it's also essentially a dinosaur. So it's got that going for it. Right, Trish Talker? Only flyers and flyer based. Broke as you were. Oh, I'm just Trish Tucker just kind of saying about Excel is asking about indigenous animals in various Pacific islands, in particular Easter. And I don't know if there's any indigenous reptiles on Easter or not. There's indigenous reptiles in Aotearoa, but that's because they are from Gondwana land, Tuatara, for example, right? This guy. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about this guy, but he's got some crazy stuff going on. Dude, paint this guy's arms. I don't need to be, but whatever. This guy, wow, this is a crazy mini. This is, again, I've never painted a mini like this. This mini is really going to test my professional abilities. It's all right though. I feel good so far. What we got going on here, and I feel good so far. Yeah. So Galapagos. I'm pretty sure the Galapagos were not inhabited in the pre-European era. Can anyone confirm that on Wikipedia or elsewhere? Galapagos were never inhabited pre-European. I mean, actually, in the habitation now, it's just, I'm not saying because the Europeans know what they're doing. It's just like modern technology has allowed them to be inhabited. But I don't know. The Galapagos not inhabited in prehistory, I'll say. ancient times is probably a better way to say that. I don't want to say pre-European because it suggests that only the Europeans could inhabit them. No. But they were not inhabited. Humans, yeah. Yeah, modern era. So, modern era. So, hey, Trish Tucker, if you're still there, did you attend the Anthro seminar that was given by the, the Native American dude who, talking about colonialism and education? Were you at that seminar, the Anthro seminar? Okay, you heard about it. Okay, so you heard. So today in the Anther meeting, I heard for the first. I did not attend. Probably one of my freakouts where I was like spazzing out about something, and didn't go. Yeah, I heard that was pretty. Some I don't know, pretty blatantly disrespectful uh, behavior by a series of students there in the audience. So I heard about for the first. I'm gonna leave aside my painting of his leather stuff and go to the furs on him. So I need the leather to dry so I can do a second coat and then second coat its skin. But in the meantime, I'm gonna paint. Yeah, and postdoc. I do not. No one mentioned to me who the PhD student postdoc was. Do you know? As long as we're gossiping, and I'm an irrepressible gossip, I guess. I'll be back in 1 minute, I promise. Okay. Okay, tell me later. Tell me. Oh my god, I want to know. I want to know. What postdoc in our department? Tell me later. Okay, I understand. I'm a gossip. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, okay. Um. Oh my god. I don't know who it is. Give me an example. Give me their initials. Seminar on their book last year. Did I go to that? A postdoc? We don't have postdocs. You mean someone who's done their social anth, done their PhD, written a book? Come on, give me more. I'm stupid. Um, PTF, social anth. I'm an idiot. So someone linked Alan Hoppingly find the military strategy to see all sorts of bug. Yo, chop. Someone linked island hopping. The military. Okay. Yeah, the biologicals. So the MacArthur and Wilson arguments about island biogeography are probably not really related to the U.S. military, say in World War II, hopping across Micronesia. Probably not the same. You can tell me tomorrow, Trish Stalker, if I'm too dense to figure it out. Okay, now his fur. His fur, a different color again. The fur skins he's got there on his neck and head. That stuff. That is an incredible mini. So detailed, as you can all see. And really, my plan is I'm just splashing mass on the big chunks of area that are similarly painted. And then I'm going to dry brush those areas to kind of pick out highlights. I'll dry brush them with like lighter versions of those colors. And then I'll start painting it properly. So this really is just setting the stage, all this stuff. Yeah. So it's gonna take multiple. I'm just kind of that's my plan. Got a plan. We'll see how it goes. I bought this new like stand for this, but this is a stand for XL size minis, right? I also have this stand. See, this is a painting stand for small minis. I'm sorry. This stand, right? See, you pull the stand apart. It's got springs in there, and it holds the mini base inside it. You can hold on to it like this. But this is only good for small minis. This is a base for big minis, but it's the springs are not tight enough to actually hold a big mini solidly. So I put this black rubber band around it to increase the tension, so I can hold this guy like this, and I can shake him. He's not going to fall off, etc. But that's that guy. So that's on this big base. Another Citadel base. Oh, I can hold it and whatnot. Like that. So, that's that guy. So, MacArthur and Wilson, the 1960s book, they're describing a book called Island Biogeography. And yeah, it's about the dispersal of species across islands. And largely, with distance and size, species become more depauperate. So few and fewer species as you move out into an island system. And that does describe in general, it describes well the distribution of species in the Pacific Islands. To some degree, the settlement of Pacific Islands by people, because we are a species too that also has to deal with the strictures of ecology and distance and geography. Yeah. Yeah. So it's all related. Right. Okay, I'm gonna paint this guy's fur and then go back to his like little schmuck. So the fur. Brown, but what brown do I use for that fur up there? And then his hair. His hair is gray, so So the fur. fur. What kind of brown do I? It says like, do I do a dark brown, a really dark brown? See, I'm holding this guy in this thing here. Do I do a dark? Let me look at my dark browns. Right. I'd use. Got the red brown for his like clothing. So I'm looking at my silver here. I got like flat brown, a favorite. That's too close. I need to do something light. That fur's gonna be light. On that fur, I might do even God. No, the medium gray was right there. I might do. I'm not medium gray, but I could do something like. That's and earth is my normal fur. Yeah, the tan earth on it. Sale you got thanks. I was on biography, leads inside biography and on. Yeah. So if you look at MacArthur and Wilson Island Biogeography, that is the foundational resource for that topic. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's just this is my field, so that's why I use that shit all the time. But yeah, it is. Yeah, difficult. I'm hoping you're a philomath. Now what's that? What's philomath mean? I know what a polymath is. Same thing? Electron topics. I'm gonna say so. A philomath is a jack of all trades. That's the English version of that, right? A jack of all trades, master of none. And that's me. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. For certain. That's why I see my professional career, for better or worse. So if we don't have D&D this weekend, Excel, I'm talking to you, because there's been some changes at my table. I'll play a bit of Baldur's Gate, which is always good for a laugh, eh? Thank you, Excel, for being there this last weekend. I know you were there for our finishing of the ruins of Jawarl, the Citadel by the Sea. You were there for that. I appreciate that. And then you were also that was 2 weekends ago. This last weekend you were there for my game with my high school buddies. Where we're currently doing Cult of the Reptile God. You were there for that. Thank you for that too. Well, learning. That's good. Wish one of my students were that way. Guy's so big. Whenever so to paint him, I do this where you can see him. I set him up, and he's gone. So, Trish Tucker, if you're still there, I don't know what Alex's approach will be to playing without Sam. I mean, they're relatives, and she might think, oh, but I assume she'll still play without Sam there. But I don't know, you know. Love of learning in general. I get it. I get it, man. And so she should play. She had said that she. Okay. When did she say that? She just like okay, okay, but now you let the cat out of the bag. So did she know Sam didn't want to play in 1E rules? In all honesty, what do you think about 1E rules? I mean, like I said, I'm perfectly honest in saying part of my love of the rules is nostalgia. There's not some logical kind of like the rules are, logically better. It's nostalgia for me, to some degree. But it's certainly not the only degree at all. As I've described, it's like I find the play style more fun, nostalgia or not. I think she just knew. We all knew that Sam had talked to you a few times about wanting. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, like I said, she hasn't responded to my call out on Discord, which is no offense, not unusual. And I don't think I will tonight, but tomorrow I'll contact her and say, hey, do you want to play Sunday? It might be you, me, Patricia, Allison, Gals D&D, and Ethan. And we'll go from there. Funny. There was a Twitch channel I used to follow, and it was a guy who had great minis in his D&D. I don't know. I honestly don't know what rule set they played, but the minis were awesome. He had incredible camera work for his minis and terrain, and God, what did he call the? What did he? It was a bunch of women he DM'd for. What did they call it? Name like not damsels and demons or whatever's. But no, it was a really good Twitch channel, and it was like 5 women playing D&D with the DM, and it was really good. Girls who don't D&D. What? I like it. I said join the campaign. I like it. I joined the campaign and store. I like 5e browse. Okay, I know what again. Yes, is that don't D&D? No, it's not. It was a totally a kind of unique Twitch stream associated with the Greyhawk campaign world out of Texas, and I forget the name. I could ask the D&D guys that I interact with; they would know. The DM's name was Frank, but I could figure it out. But yeah, what was it called? Fuck. Doesn't quite matter, but yeah. Girls Who Don't D&D. A great. So what's the podcast about? The Girls Who Don't D&D podcast. I need to repaint this stuff and then I need to paint for the first time. Well, no. Okay, this stuff first. There's emergent chickens to paint. Okay, cool. I'm gonna look at that link. Thank you. Okay. Girls Who Don't D&D. Girls Who Don't D&D. Apply to be a voice. Okay, yeah, okay. Just 3 girls and 24. There's a bunch of other books, but I haven't read them. Oh, well, that's fine. Oh, nice. Okay. Background campaign, I like it. Oh, I will listen to the very first episode. Thanks, Sir Tucker. Hmm. So, Church Talker, not to talk about, we talk about work a lot on this podcast, on this stream. Yeah. Also, during our Anthro meeting today, where the seminar issue was brought up, also, the reading group issue was brought up, and I absolutely appreciate that. And I just kind of want to say that, not that I didn't treat it seriously, but I didn't really know how much it affected people. I wasn't clued into that. So I appreciate your efforts to discuss our recent reading group readings and the problematic nature of them. I acknowledge that, and yeah, and Bex told me that, yeah. And Bex brought that up in our Anthem meeting today. Not naming any names or saying anything, but I knew what she was talking about. I doubt anyone else did. And so yeah, it's I learn about this kind of stuff too. And it's been a learning experience for me, and I appreciate the kind of like opportunity to kind of think about those things. In very much all honesty. I don't have an answer, nor do I necessarily have an agreement or disagreement with a position. But I appreciate the opportunity to confront's too strong a word, to be made aware of some things I should think about. That make my own work better. Not think about it because I have to think about it to be a better, to like, oh, you got to think about this shit because, you're a bad person. No. Thinking about this makes your own work better. Okay. Then I will think about it. Yeah, that's a good that's a good aspect of being in this part of the world where we talk about it. I think we honestly do talk about these issues and confront them more so than in Europe. Absolutely. And that's the future of kind of like knowledge creation. So I think people need to recognize that we're at the forefront of that. Not necessarily in my instance, not because I'm like knowledgeable, because I'm like I'm in the cauldron. I'm in this place, which requires me to think about this more specifically than perhaps other parts of the world. That's good. Skylands reminds me of a bad idea I had pretty deep because of Rossman book. Excel like geography type articles. Military geography, geology, now biogeography. Yeah, so Excel, we talk about this stuff in our professional work. There's talk around and others, but also in our D&D work to some degree. These things. Okay. So again, this guy, I'm just like smacking paint on various sections of him. I don't know how much you can see this. It's such a big mini, but in that light is not very. But you can perhaps see I'm like, whatever. I painted his faces. I painted his skin, his leather pieces, the skull. I'm just really slapping shit on. And it will be much more deep. I'm gonna dry brush this stuff and then paint it again, and then we'll start doing the really kind of close up stuff. But I'm kind of this is my plan for this guy, and it's kind of going to plan, I guess, to some degree. That you guys know I use the mag light because I'm an old man with bad eyes, but whatever. I'm trying to get the mag light out of my fucking face. Do that. Just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna slap some paint on his skin tone in areas where I've knocked it, and that's fine. it's an article, an article elf umpire detective. Jesus God. Huh. So. Jesus fucking Christ. Just throwing the bottle over the table here. Yeah, paint that again. Again. All the kinks here. It's okay. And it ran with it for about a mile before I started it. I think Trish took a break because some of this shit reminds Trish of work. Well, no, Trish Talker and I talk about work stuff a lot on this channel. It's kind of impossible. I mean, you know, so Trish Talker and I have this very kind of like unique job experience where we work together. Our work is very kind of like self-directed to a degree. And so we can kind of mix lots of personal life, hobby stuff, and work. It's just the way it is. Yeah. Not everyone's cup of tea, but yeah. Yeah. It is weird. Fuck, it's fucking weird. God. It's such a small world and so much Trish Tucker knows this. Get big blocks of stuff still. His hair is the last big block of stuff. In the back of that skull. Yeah, that's the last big block of stuff. And so I'm feeling kind of okay with this guy, is that I'm able to block him out in some big ways. I've got to get more of that stuff. Look at this. Okay, that's up there. Oh, fuck yeah. Giant fucking fuck up here. Gotta do his hair. That club. The club his hair. And that'll be good for the massive. If you can't see this, sorry. So this guy's, yeah, I'm not done by any means, but we're blocking him out in these big parts of him, right? And then we're gonna go back and we're gonna deal more precise with everything else. So hair, club are some next big things. Yeah. And the hair is going to be, I like the hair of being gray. So I think I will paint the hair in a really light gray, super light gray. And I can then paint over in some contrast paint, super light gray hair. Okay, so but wood. Okay, so let me put him here. This. Hi, babe. Okay, the wood in his hair. The chick. Oh, and I gotta get that. Fuck. Sorry, I do have a bit of. I smacked some stuff on his leather. I need to take care of. Those I screwed up. So just this over here. Right there. Okay, though. That's fine. Super complicated. As Carbon said, super complicated. But there's lots of little pieces. The hard one, I think, is the Troy set. Well, yeah. What do I think of the Troy site? So, that honestly, Excel. I don't know much about old world archaeology. I know about Pacific Island archaeology. So I'm really not your guy to talk about that kind of stuff. Honestly, I'm like, I don't fucking know. Seriously. But I am going to keep painting. So you can't see when I'm on. So this guy, right there. I'm gonna keep painting this guy. I'm gonna paint his wood on him, and then his hair, and then other stuff. So every little piece is kind of painted, and then we'll be able to go back and do it all again. Okay, so the wood on him, that club he's holding right there. I normally do wood. I guess it's gonna be dark. Mostly flat brown. The easiest to do flat brown for that wood. That's fine. Something strange like Brigadine brown. Okay. Gonna make some shit pop on him because he's got lots of browns on him and that kind of stuff. So, but I want to make stuff pop. And his wood is kind of super. Oh, it's got some stuff on it. It's kind of yellow, but maybe I'll just do this Brigadine brown for the wood. Different color. We'll move. We'll go on from there. All good, Excel. Already back. So Excel, might you watch Virtual Greyhawk Con? Samba's little show, as it were. I'm gonna paint the whole club in one color, and then we'll deal with this other stuff at later date. Seriously, this is just slapping paint on to get base coats down, not worrying about details at this point. No, I hate. It's hard for me to not worry about details, but forever. It's hard to fucking see what I'm doing. Smaller brush, I think, at times. So I will get some of those stuff, but I'll finish with this brush on this part of the club. The club. Up here. Oh, fucking God. Yeah, I'm trying to okay. I was talking about the politics. Politics always screws stuff up, man. Kidding me? Gosh, this is difficult to paint. This guy. All spots is not the easiest guy to paint. I'm just gonna keep going with what I know and pretty good for the club. The club. Now I got some other wooden spots on him that I'll paint with a different sized paintbrush. But yeah, okay. He's still he's coming together, this little guy. He's not little. He's coming together. This guy. No, Mona was at Chatham's. When was she at the Chathams? Trish Tucker. Recently? Like, as a part of that fucking what's his name? Excavations of the boat last week. Was it about the canoe excavations? Okay, that's okay, good. Because the canoe excavations are fucking ridiculous. But yeah, anyways. Oh, sweet. She's just holidaying. She's just fucking running around. That's awesome. That's awesome. Pretty jealous of that. Obviously, I guess. Sorry, you guys can't see him looking at. I'm looking at my guy here and blocking him and my blocking of him. What else? Okay, I gotta do. I'm gonna finish blocking this guy. I'm gonna do his hair. His hair's a pretty obvious thing there. Let's do his hair. Why is it about? Is she gonna like meet her untimely end, or just like fuck off and never return? The Chathams excel are a series of islands to the east of New Zealand that were settled pre-European times. They have an archaeological record, and Trish Tucker is talking about her PhD supervisor, who's retired, but is still supervising Trish Tucker and engaged in research. Absolutely, and she's off on these educational cruises. Yeah. Yeah. No, Melinda's a great person. She's absolutely a great person. Absolutely. Okay, this guy. Light gray. Oh my god. Switching. Yeah, got it. So, yeah, he doesn't. This guy doesn't show up well. Jeez, he's so like washed out. Better. Hair. Yeah, I'm gonna go for the gray. I think it's a good hair thing. Darker, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, it's gonna be the color it is, and you'll see it in a second. What? The Chathams and a tomato seed? What? For science. Hook it up for science. Trish Talker, can you confirm? He's yeah, my joint's fabulous. Maybe you'll kill him someday. This giant. I'd be seriously happy just to get him blocked. This paint like blocked out. Absolutely. So I don't remember which sucks, but I don't know. But what? Okay. Giants and Greyhawk. You know, Trish Tucker? I don't know. Honestly, I really don't. I know that in some aspects of Greyhawk lore and a particular timeline, giants over in the mountain ranges to the west of the Sheldamar Valley, giants got together to band together and to attack the human states of Sterich and the Grand Duchy of Jeff in kind of like the 580s. These were giants that lived in the Hell Furnaces and the Crystal Mist Mountains and the Barrier Peaks. But where they're from, I don't know if there's I don't know. I'm sure there is a specific Greyhawk kind of set of lore, and now, of course, I have to look that up. So that will be my task. Or you, Trish Talker, that can be your task, and you can let us know. But there's a standard kind of history for giants in D&D, which relates to they're all related, and it relates to their like something called the ordning, which is when all the giants kind of dispersed, the giants of various kinds dispersed across the prime material plane, whether it was the planet of Earth in Greyhawk or other planets in the other parts of the multiverse, Toril, which is the planet for the Forgotten Realms. So yeah, there definitely is a set of lore about giants that includes giants in Greyhawk, but it's specifically, I do not know it. but I do know that giants in Greyhawk in the 580s, 570s, in the area you know of, Trish Talker, to the mountains to the west of the Shalimar Valley, the giants in those mountains attacked the human states bordering their mountain lands. So that's all I can kind of tell you. Excellent question from the audience. Jesus. Excel, lots of stuff there. Oh man, North yeah. Started studying the season. Mountains of Maine, North Atlantic, Bering Sea, a river valley. Survey the southern coast of Iceland. A natural habitat for studying primary ecological succession. Mosses and lichens were among the first. Mr. Tucker, what's the latest on the museum job? Is it totally kaput, or is it? Can you tell me what's going on there? Okay, a few more kind of pieces to block out on this guy. Yeah, rabbit hole moment. Oh, rabbit hole. Rabbit hole. Okay. What time is it? Still good. I want to finish blocking this guy out, right? I might go another half an hour, 20 minutes or so, just get all these big pieces on him done, kind of all painted up, all the parts of him, and then in subsequent sessions we will start honing in on specifics. Absolutely. So we get his skin here. Skin paint somewhere. There. Those chickens, those emergent chickens need to be painted. Seriously. Okay. Now it's just the rest of this stuff. the wood. I'm gonna paint that wood the same color as his club with a small brush. Here we go. Against the eye. What's it? The giant's maroon color is neat. Yeah. Go facts. Go facts. Squirrel. The word spam. It's all right, man. I can vouch for Trish Tucker being a forgiving listener. Put it that way. Trish Tucker. So will Leo will she do okay? Will she do okay tomorrow? She think it'll all be good, or is she really nervous? She'll be fine. Okay, she'll be fine. I mean, I'm sure she'll be fine, whether whatever she thinks or not. But I mean, like I said, we know so much more than they do. Not even funny. Yeah, just trying to really not. Right. So it's kind of still. He's coming along. I'm gonna get the remaining locked parts of him out, and then yeah, and then we'll call it a night. But yeah, we'll just get him done here. Basic setup. The assessment is that because of my statement in lecture where I said, you know, answer it to a reasonable degree. I just like I can't. I when students freak out about what do I need to do to get credit. I'm just like, look, we're all reasonable people. Just answer it in a reasonable way. And I kind of think about, honestly, I think about courts of law, where often, in law decisions, they say things like, what would a reasonable person do? A reasonable person would like give aid to someone dying on the street, right? A reasonable person would do that. So I'm like, I don't know how to how to describe it any more than like, be reasonable. In other words, don't go fucking overboard, and don't just do shit work. Do reasonable work, and we will recognize that because we are reasonable people. So it's just like, I don't know how else to fucking say it. All of this question. Okay. Here's the teacher I got you. They don't compute reasonable. They're so concerned with how do I get credit, and just like, you know, I don't know how to I don't know how to explain that. I mean, help me out if you know, Church Talker. I mean, like, I understand. I guess my definition of, but you know, it's kind of we all know quality when we see it, and if you're, you know, honestly, if you just kind of like put effort into it, we'll recognize that and we'll judge it accordingly. You know. Yeah. And if they haven't done the reading, you can just say like, well then fuck dude, you haven't done the reading. So good luck. Your professor told you to do the fucking reading. If you don't do it, then what am I gonna do? I can help you. That's my opinion. I mean, fuck. I specifically said, do the reading. What do you want? Oh, for fuck's sake. The kids. They're the worst. Okay. I think now I'm going to do everything else. Those things I'll do differently. The chickens, I'll do different. The chickens I'm going to do in like some nice golden color. Golden chicken color. It's a golden. I'll do this in a golden chicken color. Sweet. Nice tutor church talk. I mean, just, yeah, I mean, I seriously don't know how to, like, they're so concerned with how do I get credit. I'm just like, if you just like think, you know, I want to do my best work. You should always do your best work. Not, I'm going to do the work I need to do to get credit. No, I'm going to do my best work. That's what's required. You know, I don't know how to fucking explain that to students. Yeah, no, dude, these exactly. These are the emergency chickens. These emergency chickens out. We'll paint them in more emergency chicken detail in the future. But right now, we just want to block them out. Blocking is, I use the phrase to block out, and blocking is if any of you are out there know about, if you're an actor, thespians, to block a scene means to like determine the kind of like basic movements the actors will make in a scene. So when I talk about blocking out, I'm thinking about, you know, the basic stuff. When I think about blocking out, so I think about blocking out a scene, get it down. Everywhere something's happened, something in the books. Students are really, and I understand they're concerned, but how do I get? I mean, wish they would think, okay, I'm always gonna do my best, and I will get the mark I get for doing my best. Not what do I need to do to get X mark. No, do your best. B. Your best is a fucking B. So were they, Trish Talker, were they freaked out by what I had said in lecture, and they more so than previous sessions under the Nick regime? So my statements like got them to think anew, but oh fuck, have I done this all wrong? Chickens. Only slightly. Okay, then, okay. Fuck. Can't fucking stand. Fucking hate students. No, I'm kidding. But kind of. But not really. Sorry, I'm talking to myself now, Trish Tucker, about like imagine a conversation with students. Chickens. Chickens. The chickens are there. Everything else is there. Some other basic stuff is there. I can do that skull. Fuck that skull. I guess. Fuck, what did I do that skull in? I don't know. Chickens! Exactly. Fucking slap them around. Chickens. Human it's buried. There, how deep was I supposed to? Yeah. I just today, was it today? No, sorry. Yesterday, I talked about this very same stuff in lecture. Um, Excel, honestly, my lecture topic, and okay, right. I gotta do this back of this guy, that thing right there, that skull. Maybe I'll just do it in white. Sure, why not? Fine. I really like gray, like silver gray. That's fine. Yeah, silver gray. I'll do that. I think I'm the dry brushing all this shit. Wow, that's gonna be. I might dry brush this on the weekend just to kind of. But it's gonna take some serious. This whole back skull in this in what's the Citadel paint silver gray. Just And I guess keep saying this will be modified in the future. But right now, we're going to block it out in this paint. This skull's got ropes on it, all kinds of shit, and different bones and horns and whatnot. It'll all be slightly different colors, which is fine. But I'm just kind of producing this like really big base coat on it that I'll then modify when I go back to it. I gotta go for the back here too. Fuck. Only thing on his back. I guess that's all right. I'm gonna do this rope though in white just because they get it all kind of. I think I want all the surfaces of this thing to be painted tonight, and they get repainted. I just kind of want to get everything, as I keep saying, blocked out. If they get repainted, that's totally fine. All this stuff in the middle, all that stuff. I think I can do it. Let's see, so, let's go back about 5. Yeah. Writing the Romans, 3000 BC. So yeah, 5,000 years ago in Europe. But Sumerian writing, or which is earlier, indeed. But I'm a bad archaeologist. I don't know that kind of shit. I've got no idea. script is not yet deciphered. I don't know what it's called. It's not cuneiform. That's Sumerian and Mesopotamian, Persia, around Iraq stuff. Contemporary. I don't know what the script. I can't remember what the script for is called for Indus. Honestly. Got this essential stuff, which I'm probably just going to do in our basic brown, and then it will be modified. Basic brown, modified. But again, this is all kind of just getting everything blocked out before he's really painted. So again, just blocking everything on this guy out, and then we'll paint him properly in multiple subsequent sessions. Yeah, so blocking him out's looking pretty good. Okay, metal. I should do like black. So maybe I'll do just proper metal. I don't know. Proper metal. Heck. For the metal. And I'll do my German gray. Where's that? German gray, and I'll paint some metal over it. You can see my palette here in the background, my wet palette. So I used to kind of put all the paints on. Here, over that, so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just base coating metal here. It will be a different color. I'll paint it a metal color when the time comes. Right now I'm just base coating it. And his handcuff as well. Do um you know, done. The metal base coat rather. A different metal will go on top. That'll be totally fine. Now, the rest of that middle section, I think I'm just gonna paint it all one color. I mean that I can then modify through a variety of means. Actually, the skulls I might do white, but everything else, basic brown. But I can then, then will be modified. Right back in just a few minutes. Give me 1 minute. Hey, hey, Excel and others. I think I'm gonna call a time on the streaming. Is that all right? We're gonna finish this up, do a couple of things to it, but call time on the streaming, and hopefully see you on Sunday. for somewhat new first edition game. We'll go back to paint this guy next week on certain on Wednesday. I like this guy. We'll continue the painting of him, take it slowly, do it well, and bleh. And yeah, we'll go from there. Is that all right? Appreciate ORXM from Dice Legends coming by. Diadems, Trish Tucker's moderation, you being here, Excel, Cardman, Grey League, all you guys. Love it. It's my favorite time on Wednesday nights. So I'm going to call tonight though, and hopefully I'll see many of you on New Zealand Sunday afternoon. Awesome. Excel, love it. Talk to you soon.